Welcome guys to another episode of our end of the month review meeting documentary. Just like we said in the last session, see you next month, and then we are in that particular month. And I am very, very happy for us to share our journey, share our story, share our work with you. And I also appreciate your efforts of watching us over and trying to promote our content. It is very, very much appreciated. And we see you, we love you, we are sending you more vibes of watching our video. So guys, welcome to our section. Today is going to be a whole lot of presentation. We have packed activities for our paralegals and also for us, as we come together, we are going to look at accountability, workplace safety, workplace collaboration, and many other issues that we intend to unpack in this particular meeting. So stay tuned as we go through these issues one after the other. So we are welcome to our meeting for the month of July. And it's a special meeting. Of course, we can see the faces that are not usually here. So for me, I am, eager to see how the meeting turns out, especially for some of the presentations we have on important topics that are going to help us to advance in our work. And, of course, I hope we have a wonderful deliberation today. So I would invite the executive director to give the opening remark, and then we move over to other things.
Good morning. Thank you, Program Manager, and welcome all of you to our month of July review meeting. The meeting is specifically for was supposed to design for us to review the work our paralegals and the counselors are doing, but we also felt the need to continue to also review the work our HIV project instead of just limiting that as if that does not require review. I know we've been having some slight review, but not well detailed the way we also do the other programs that we run. So that's why we also have our colleagues working on the HIV program to also join today's meeting. So this will be like a reoccurring thing going forward so that we'll continue to engage, interface with our colleagues on the HIV project once every quarter, while the other programs will also be having a monthly review meeting. Because if there are significant or private conversations we needed to have based on the cases that are coming up from the each of our program, we leave it at that level. So you are all welcome to today's meeting, and I want everybody to, for because it's a fully packed day. So your commitments will help us to be able to achieve a timely conclusion of today's meeting. So please, your submission should be brief, and then also go straight to the point if you have anything to say at any time. Thank you very much.
So we are going to start with the overall snapshot, that is executive snapshot of every case that happened. So for this month, we had a total of 135 cases across the 5 Southeast states. And then out of these 135 cases, 122 cases were resolved. We have 7 that are still in progress. And then for the counseling, we have a total of 32 cases. So this is just presenting an overall view of everything that was done by each and every one of us that are paralegals that are seated around this table. So looking at the case volume by state, so for Enugu State, Enugu had 30 cases, Ebonyi had 30 cases as well, Abia had 12 cases, Anambra had a little shorter than what Enugu and Ebonyi had, and then Imo was the one that recorded the highest number of cases. Knowing that we have three paralegals that are in the state, and that is the reason why we are having that particular amount of number for them. So for Imo and Abia, they're having recording blackmail as the highest number of cases, but for Enugu, Ebonyi, and Anambra is having assault as the highest number of cases. So this is what the data is showing from the reports that we have all sent across the state. So for the psychosocial summary, we had depression having the highest number of cases, which is followed by anxiety and depression. Yes, so and then social phobia is the last one. So like we can remember in the Friday meeting, anxiety and depression is always taking the highest number of cases, and this is also properly represented here from what we can see in the counseling work. So Madam Onye had a total of 32 cases that she cancelled within the week, and then we had depression, 13 cases. We had anxiety alone, which is up to 18 cases. So this is a summary of what she reported. So thank you guys for listening on behalf of Ifeanyi. Thank you.
Kudos to the M&E for what he has put up there. Though I have a concern on the cases I reported 13 cases, and then I think I have one that is unresolved, is still in progress, and that should be a case of eviction. Though I'm still in contact trying to establish that cordial relationship with the victim's family, so we can actually look for a better way to actually resolve and integrate the victim into the family again. So I think that's the highlight for me there. But I have one case that is still in progress, a case that stood out for me as a paralegal domicile in Abia. Is a case of arbitrary arrest and detention by the men of Abia State Homeland Security. I think they are one of the security agencies that we are newly bettered in Abia State to curb security menace in the state. And then in one of their routine patrol, a stop and search, it happens that one of the community member who stays in Abia and who has a salon closed from shop around 10:30, and then he was headed home. And you find out that most of these men of the Abia State Homeland Security, majority of them are residents of Abia, indigenes of Abia State, especially the Omaya North axis. And then they feel like they know most of the community members. And then when they label you or when they profile you as someone who gestures like a woman and all of those things, they tend to label you a gay man or a homosexual. So it happens that our client, who owns a salon, closed from shop that late, 10:30, and was headed home. So they spotted him and called him, and then they began to verbally abuse him, that he looks like a homosexual man, owing to the fact that he gestures and then his appearance. And then they reached for his phone, and then when he hesitated, they started to be aggressive and hostile on him. So when he yielded his phone, they went straight to his gallery and all of this. So they find activities which suggest that he could be a community member. And immediately they took him to their station. So the guy slept there till the following morning. So they were not beckoning on him. They were using it as an avenue to trying to extort. So they were beckoning on him if he wants to get released and all of those things, like he should do something. So that was when he said he has somebody to call so that the person will come and bear him. So that was when he reached out.
Recently, we have started a sensitization about it on our community members, because a particular police station, once they arrest you, they go straight to your phone. Even last week, we are now in an inside bus going to work. A client called Kenneth that is in station. Why were you arrested? He said it was on his way to a party. And there was a particular party that was held to that day. And they stopped him, went straight to his phone, and they arrested him. They were calling 150,000. So when we negotiated, finally he was bailed with 20,000. So some are cooperating, but I think sensitization should go on to lessen the police harassment and other detentions. Thank you.
The last time we had our physical club meeting, somebody came, a guy, one of the community members, he said he's surprised that we are talking about, digital safety and all these things. So I was like, that doesn't mean these people should know. Because even before I came into AG, there are some things that I know now that I didn't know before. So it enlightened me. So I was like, what you should do for us now is go into the community, help us spread the news, tell them how to, know their rights. And then one thing again I shared in the platform, I also brought in our human rights, because I want to, say it here. In as much as some of us who are in the WhatsApp platforms, when they post any nude, it saves directly to your phone. So I was like, go to your settings on WhatsApp and then off your save automatically. So even if they go through your phone, tag on your WhatsApp, they won't see anything first in your gallery. So that's the tip I want to share. Thank you.
Based on what Higher Sense said, there is this the federal government has passed new cyber crime into the law. So I will advise each and every one of us to go through it and let's be guided. Thank you.
Over the months, my work has been focused on promoting and protecting human rights through legal support, case documentation, and referrals. So, over the month, I've handled some series of human rights violation cases, such as physical assault, arbitrary arrest, discrimination, housing insecurity, and lots more. And it's a good thing that our clients get satisfaction in the outcome of the case. So, and my intervention has promote justice to the vulnerable individuals in the community, creating a more space and safe space for all the individuals in the community. And the case that stood out for me over the last month is a case of physical assault, where my client was physically assaulted by his roommate. It was a very devastating situation for an incident for my client. But through my interventions and everything that happened on that case, my client got justice, and he was very, very satisfied with the outcome of that case. And the perpetrator was put behind bars. So it's a good thing, and is a joy in my heart that I'm able to handle these difficult cases effectively and effortlessly without stress.
Over the months, my work has been a hectic one, a very hectic one at that, because of the stories of the community, like a whole lot of cases on blackmail, extortion, eviction, and so many of them sexual assault. Even though it was a hectic month, I will say that, and I will attest to it, that my happiness is that I had to resolve all the cases, and my clients were rejoicing, and they all were happy because their case was resolved. So I will say that was my happiness, because I noticed that I have satisfied my clients. They were happy, and they also attest to it.
I think my work so far has been a success, in the area of resolving and tending to cases, not just attending to cases, but also the level at which we have provided, sensitization to community members. Reason is this: one of the trending cases that we received over time in Ebonyi State was, case of eviction. And if you check across the 5 states we operate in, eviction also has the, top number. And so part of the things we did that stood out so well within the month was that we conducted a safe space meeting where we educated community members on their rights and then the key steps to legal eviction, right? So there are patterns or there are things expected to be done before, someone can be legally evicted. And these were the key things we ensured that we educated community members on, just to curb the menace of eviction that is taking the highest rank in most of the cases we reported so far.
I handled lots of cases, and then I also realized that in as much as I'm a paralegal, but then there are things that you need to apply in your workplaces, such as we call it the first aid in terms of mental health. So I realized that I'm a paralegal actually, but that doesn't mean that when someone comes to you with a problem of he's having distress or anxiety, be like, no, that's not my work. No, here in AGI, we learn voraciously. We extend our learning, have first aid knowledge about everything. So throughout my client management, so what I was able to imply is that aspect of psychological impact, listening to them, and then giving that first aid treatment to their mental health, so that at the long run everybody will come to understand and then they're getting better results.
The impact of my work in the community is enlightenment on human rights and personal safety and security of community members. I've done a lot of enlightening engagement through AGI Human Rights Club meetings. and through our WhatsApp platform, educating people on their human, on their rights, and their personal safety and security.
Whenever we report documentation, um, filling of folders and viral load. So whenever we go to the facility, because of this FY is about to end, a lot of form is being given to us to fill in all those, both the old forms, the old folders and the new folders. So they expected us to fill, for our mama, we have almost 4,000 folders and we expected to fill it up. That's the reason why in every of our targets, we are always writing filling of folders form, because even as it stands now, our mama is, they are renovating the facility, so the folders that we have already arranged, they ask us to take it out. So maybe whenever we are writing arranging of folders, means that those places we have kept those folders, we have to arrange it back to the normal place. So that's the thing I'm trying to clear.
For a particular patient, you are having up to 5 forms to fill. And as you are filling them, you are entering them into the EMR.
Yes.
So it's a lot of work for us now in all the facilities. Each patient has up to, apart from the ones we are filling, the pharmacy form, the clearance form, then it has a lot of forms to fill for one patient. Adherence form, tracker form. So after filling those forms, you still update them on the EMR, and it's a lot of work for me.
Just like when you go to a hospital and then, each patient will always have a folder, right? And then it's not just one folder. So if the person has been on care for a while, so you are seeing piles and piles of documentation that is done. So documentation is key because it provides a history, medical history of your client. So we understand the technicalities around the health related intervention. That is also no different from a paralegal work that also requires documentation, because if you are meeting a particular case over time, there will also be a lot of documentation that's supposed to be done. And that's actually why we're talking about documentation. Whatever you did not document properly shows that you didn't do it. And then it's those documentation that will be evidence that this work was done, and then you have a history to that. You can always go back on a particular folder and you are seeing all the journey you have worked with that particular client. But if I open a folder and the only thing I'm seeing is the intake form, and there is no other thing that shows me history, meanwhile you're telling me verbally that you did this, you did that, and it's not documented. So how do I? I'm not a spirit. I can assume you didn't do anything. So keep on doing the work. It's not easy, I understand. So keep doing it, especially that we're working with external hospital and not necessarily within our own facility. So sometimes the hospital staff may mess up with the documentations we have also kept there. So thank you. We understand all of that. Well done.
For the past few months, it has been so great. Refuse has been updated, except for next month, which we are not yet in August. But so far so good. Things are going so well. Both the viral load and the refuel in all facilities, both the General Hospital, Emekuku, and Urala, we are done with our refuel for this quarter, waiting for next month.
Over the past month, we've had a lot of documentations and folder auditing going on in our organization, where we have to implement some forms and files for the client in order to make up for the client's folder and also make up for the information that is required for the client in the facility. And last month too, we had an outreach at Imo State University, courtesy of Imo Saka, in collaboration with other NGOs in Imo State and Owerri as a whole. It hasn't been easy, so to say, but we've been doing our best. We've been trying our hardest to make sure that we deliver quality service to our clients and make sure that our clients are happy and they are comfortable and they are satisfied with all the services that we've provided for them.
As a case manager, my job has been a successful one, following up clients and meeting up their demand. It's not an easy one, but I thank God so far. I've made it. I follow them up, I check on them, call them to make sure they pick up their drugs in a due time and know if they're taking it appropriately.
Recently, people have improved a lot in their medication, their viral load checkup, and so on. They take it seriously. Some go as far as coming as early as 6 just to make sure they meet up to time or they are attended to on time. So far so good. Everything is going fine. People are not waiting to be pushed to go and pick up their drugs or go for medical checkup. I'm happy that my clients are responding to treatments and they don't wait to be pushed to go for checkup or any other thing they are asked to do. And it's a thing of joy that when you go for your records as a health practitioner, you see that if not 100%, at least 98% of your clients are responding to treatment. It gives joy. It shows that you are doing your job.
My work for the month was successfully, and I have a client that I gave intervention because she was depressed and she was overwhelmed and alone because of her situation. Like they always said, we should listen without judgment. As a psychosocial counselor, you have to listen to the client. I listened very attentively to the client, and it makes her to feel comfortable, which she was so happy that I did not judge her because of her situation, and I also give her that intervention that she needed. So it really stood out for me, and everything was successfully during the period of the month.
Building a culture of accountability. So we've had accountability so many times from different places, from individuals, from people that, on TikTok, on social media, or from different places. And then they have made mention of things that they feel accountability should be. So what is accountability? Accountability is the obligation to answer for one's action and decisions, to accept responsibility for them, and to disclose results in a transparent manner to the people affected by them. So we have the few words that are here. We have answerability, we have responsibility, we have enforceability. There's a difference between responsibility and there's a difference between responsibility and accountability. For responsibility, we have this can be shared or delegated to others. As responsibility is also focused on doing the work. Responsibility exists during tasks.
This is actually my first time of attending a review meeting here in Enugu State, and I can say with much pride that I learned a lot in this meeting. And I also learned about accountability in your place of work. It is not easy to be accountable, but it is what is required of us as workers in an organization. You need to take responsibility for your actions and don't blame anybody for any mistake that you do. That is what makes you an accountable person in your organization.
What really stood out for me today is accountability to my clients as a psychosocial counselor. Being a psychosocial counselor, you have to be accountable to your client. You listen first of all, and give him or her intervention that she needed or that he needed. So being accountable builds trust, and clients will trust you. Oh, that this is the person that give me the intervention that I need, that listen to me, and it also enhance you and the relationship between you and the client. The client will feel comfortable sharing their problem to you. So accountability is very important, both in the workplace, because they always say that being accountable to your work, responsible to your work, and your action and your decision build trust, and it also enhance teamwork.
What stood out for me is that of responsibility. And this is how I'm going to make an impact with it, henceforth to my work. Now, we can look at responsibility from two perspectives, actually, in the sense that it's made up of two words: responsibility, which is the ability to respond. Now, we know you are responding, but my question is, how then are we responding to the task or duty or being given to us? So I'm going to drive home 2 points. Are we acting from duty, based on duty, or are we acting in accordance to duty? Now, what I mean is, acting in accordance to duty is, we know as workers or as employers in organizations, some tasks are given to us to do, but then we tend to do it in sense that this thing I'm doing now, there's no inclination on it, or there's no benefit. So sometimes when employers or workers, they do their work, they do it based on the benefits they get from it. So such a thing can, determine how they are going to respond to that task being given to them. Now, also acting because of duty's sake, you're acting because of, this is the right thing to do, which is what I want to emphasize on. We should try to do our tasks because we know that is the right thing to do, and not because of the benefits we're getting from it. We could see a lot of this playing out in organization, in NGOs, in workplaces. People do their tasks because of, the ED has promised, I'll give you monitors, I'll give you this, I'll give you money. But when we see that no benefits are coming, they'll be like, how can Mecha Hinkana, will they give me money? No. So you see, then it turns out to play, becomes a very, very bad, the way we respond to it becomes very, very poor. So what I want to drive home is that we should act because we know that is the right thing to do.
Thinking today's review meeting to regards of my work as a paralegal is to be accountable in anything I do, because I am a remote worker, and it's a good thing that I should be very, very accountable even when I don't have anybody that is looking at me. So today's review meeting was a very nice one. It was a good one because we learned a lot, accountability, and we actually talked about 3 pillars of accountability. We have the financial accountability, we have the program accountability, and we have the ethical accountability. So with these 3 pillars of accountability, I am sure enough that my work for the month of August will be 100% because I'm putting in every effort. Every effort to see that I stand out to meet the organization standard.
Working under pressure, we mean staying calm, focused, and productive in challenging situations. So we are talking about the ability to work under pressure is one of the most valuable skills in today's workspace. It helps individuals remain calm, productive, and effective during demanding situations. Okay, why does it matter? It improves productivity, helps meet deadlines, promotes sound decision making, builds trust and reliability, enhances teamwork and leadership, increase resilience. The benefits: increased confidence, better performance, improved decision making, stronger teamwork. Because when your team people understand that these people is diligent and these people can work under pressure, they will love to work with you. Career growth, better stress management, ability to work under pressure. I think I am comfortable with that, and I learned a lot about that, because a lot of people, when they're on pressure, they tend to make a lot of mistakes. They tend to be rude. They are not efficient enough when they're on pressure. But with what I've learned here today, I can handle things calmly, focused, and attentive.
Now I'm talking on importance of teamwork and collaboration in an organization. So introduction, teamwork means working together to achieve a goal, while collaboration means the idea being shared and the responsibility. These two actually are very important in any organization you find yourself in. Work is shared among team members tasks are complete faster, help to achieve goals on time. When team work is being done in an organization, you will see that tasks are being shared in each of every one of us, and it actually make our work more faster, more easier, and we'll achieve our tasks on time. In conclusion, teamwork and collaboration are actually a very good key in in an organization. Like I said, it also helps to this helps to improve productivity, communication in every organization. So I encourage everybody to please, practice teamwork and collaboration.
Client management means treating every patient with kindness, respect, profession from the moment they enter into the hospital till they leave. Why does it matter? Improve patient satisfaction, build trust, better outcome, and then positive reputation. We'll be taking it one by one. You have to you have to show your patients that you are a trustworthy person, and he can confide in you in any problem, in any situation that is bothering him or her. A client management is everyone responsibility. It is me and you. It is me and you. It's not only the executive director, because each and every one of us have clients. Even the paralegals, they also have clients they are managing. So it's everybody's responsibility to manage that client, regardless of anything they are facing, they are passing through. Yes, and give them, it makes them to be safe. Then please, we need to note this. People may forget what you said, but they will not forget how you make them feel. It will make them to go a long way. Today was very nice. I was so happy. Despite today it was my first time to do a presentation in Enugu State, where our headquarters is. I presented, my topic was client management. And imagine a client walk into a hospital and receptionist welcome him or her warmly, and the nurse directed him the procedure, how we work, and the doctor listened very carefully and attentively before commence treatment. That is what we call client management. Today's review meeting has enlightened me more, especially on client management. Most of the times when clients approach me for a case, so I learned that I need to listen carefully to the client, get the information he wants to pass out to me, then document it appropriately, then give the client the actual guideline he needs to follow. By so doing, I have gotten the information I want to get from the client, and probably enlighten him the things he doesn't know about that case, the legal implications about the case, and a follow-up immediately. So client management matters a lot in this work I'm doing.
So I'll be talking about workplace safety and health. That is creating a safe, healthy, and productive work environment. What is workplace safety and health? Aside from the definition on the slide, workplace safety is just basically creating a safe environment where you can work without having any fear of hazard, without having any fear of getting hurt, or you are working comfortably knowing that your mental health. And when I'm talking about workplace safety and health, it's not only about physical health, also deals with your mental health too. So you can work comfortably knowing that nobody is making your mental health unbalanced and you are doing your work effectively.
Safety and security is not just what you think. When you hear of safety, you will be like, is your door closed? Is the environment safe? No, is the siren? No, safety and security entails of a whole lot. your environment, the people you go out with, the place you they see you, the occasions that you attend, the places that people see you entails all about security. Because most people, you will see them seated at a garden with their friends, all their mind and eyes is being in that scenario they are sitting. But if you're smart enough, your ears will be in the environment, not just where you're being seated. So security is what we need to put more of us into.
The topic that stood out so well for me today was the presentation by Mr. Ifine on workplace safety, right? Workplace safety is something that most times we tend to undermine, but it's also a core area we should also, learn and adapt to, because there are a lot of things that might happen within the workplace, and if we don't have good knowledge, or if we don't have practical steps on how to follow when these issues arise. Let's take for an instance, there is a fire outbreak, and then the people in the office are not well knowledgeable enough to know how to use some of the extinguishers, or take some safety precautive measures. It's gonna be a big problem, right? So you see that the presentation was broad enough to provide us with safety measures, even to the area of people that are working in the HIV sector, where he drew a practical example. You trying to get someone tested without proper kits. You are also putting yourself at risk, right? So it's a very core area of our job that we need to prioritize, even to the paralegals, right? You get a case, and then let's say it's a mob attack, and then a client wants you to come to that particular scene at that point. First things first, you have to prioritize your safety. There's something our executive director will always say. In as much as you are trying to save a client, you should also prioritize your safety, so you don't end up being in the same situation you want to rescue a client for. So, that part really, stood out well for me.
Just aware of, closing the review meeting. We've had a lot of presentations on this today, and all of those are geared towards strengthening the work that we are doing and making our programs better. The essence of having this review meeting is not just for us to gather for a jamboree, but for us to critically look at some of our work, and then also examine ourselves in the areas where we are not performing. So I really thank you all for coming, and then I look forward to having you in August for our August review meeting. Thank you.
The month has been quite an eventful one. It's been a really productive one for us here at AGI, especially the paralegals, for the work we've been doing so far in terms of making sure that our clients, our vulnerable clients, get the desired result and get the desired justice they seek from us. Even here, even in other states where I am domiciling, the fact that the clients are always happy whenever they hear that a paralegal is in sight to handle their cases. I can use myself as a case study on the case I handled. When I finish handling the cases, and then make sure that our client went home with his desired justice that he seek. It was a fulfilled one for me. I want to sincerely thank all of those who have supported us in this journey. We cannot overemphasize or say that we didn't encounter any form of challenges, but then in the face of these challenges, the fact remains that the paralegals were able to surmount all these challenges and pull through and make sure that our vulnerable clients get the desired justice and redress they needed. This is me trying to let you know that the coming month is promising to be quite an improved one, and going to yield a better result for the organization and for the community. Thank you once more from me.
Thank you so much, guys. As I promised in the beginning, it is going to be an interactive session, and I hope you enjoyed our section. All the presentation, all the conversations that we had, they were very, very impactful. Thank you for staying with us. See you same time next month.